You take a child and you beat him and 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 beat him, eventually he'll become someone who doesn't think he's worth anything. And then he'll just acquiesce to all things that are not worth anything, like selling drugs. Like he'll go into the world of self-deprecation and self-destruction because he believes that's what he is. They did an experiment, right? They wanted to see if they wanted to eventually get humans to erase their mind and use them like as assassins, right? So they started out with dogs. Here's what they did. They took a bunch of dogs and put them in all these cages that were wired with electricity. And they turned on the electric shock. And the dogs was hollering and screaming and fighting and trying their best to get out the cage. I mean, bringing themselves to blood to get out the cage. And they wouldn't turn electricity on. They just waited and waited. For days, the dogs would fight and fight and fight. And then one day, the dogs stopped. And all the dogs in all the cages, electric shock was still going on. All the dogs in the cages just laid down. And when the dogs laid down, they turned off the electricity. When they opened all the cages. Some of the psychologists was afraid the dogs was going to attack them. They opened up all the cages and none of the dogs went out the cage. Electric shock was still going on in the cage. They would not leave the cage where the abuse took place. And Esau coined the term for it. I'm trying to get it off the top of my head. But it is when you become so abused that you now become self-abusive. And you can't, like you ever meet a female or a dude, and now every time you nice to them, they evil towards you. It's because they only understand the evil that they went through. That's a quick sign of abuse. And then that person like becomes angry or turns on them is because that niceness is not the cage. That's outside the cage. And they have conditioned themselves psychologically to stay in the cage.